5 a.m. on the 9th of August, 2022, I was awoken to the news that our company's sole founder and managing partner had suddenly passed away. This news rocked everybody and threw my entire company into chaos. A chaos which led me to call what I call now a crisis with a capital C. We're a fairly largely sized firm in South Africa, and we had an informal succession plan in place, but the question was now, who was willing to take the lead? Who was willing to take this challenge head on? Who was going to guide us through this moment of uncertainty? The state of the company during this point was not at its best. We were just overcoming the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. We had a high staff turnover. The founder and managing partner was termed as a politically exposed person within South Africa. And at the point of his death, we had less cash reserves that I would have needed to take us through one more month of operations. At this point, I was the only and youngest female executive on the board, just being 37, so we can do the math. I didn't reach 40 yet. I was also the only mum to two little girls, then aged 8 and 5. I had just completed my MBA, which meant I'd lost the better part of the prior 2 years from my family. And I was just starting to get some resemblance of what a normal life may be. I never had the ambition of being a CEO or a managing partner. I mean, who wants to be the boss? So when I took on the role of the CEO, I had to regroup my entire existence and develop a very robust plan as to how to best lead my over 100 people spread throughout South Africa and myself during this most turbulent time. Having the background of just being an assurance partner to private sector clients, I now had to learn very quickly how to manage advisory service lines. And so I had to upskill myself in technical aspects to lead these service lines. Every day brought a new challenge. Every day had some new problem for me to solve. Not knowing what tomorrow may hold was an understatement at the time. Anything and everything that could happen in a business happened to me. But being the leader, I understood the buck stopped with me, and yes, this was terrifying. As fate would have it, coincidentally, a few months earlier, I had just completed my master's thesis, and my research focused, which has now been published in South Africa, on how entrepreneurs use certain strategies to survive a crisis, namely the COVID-19 crisis. A crisis in the context of business is an unpredictable or an uncertain event that can result in a business closure, downscaling of the business, or loss of resources, and therefore requires a rapid and immediate response. The qualitative study I performed revealed 3 key themes with entrepreneurs that had successfully navigated a crisis, being, number 1, entrepreneurial behavior, 2, stakeholder management, and 3, business model adaptation. However, today I'm just going to share 2 special categories from that study that I myself engaged in to help myself and in turn lead our company through this crisis. The very first is decision theory concerning effectuation, which centers around an individual's ability to discover new opportunities when the future is unknown. A significant and most common theme is the entrepreneur behavior and emotions. During this time, I was guided by my emotional intelligence and a deep-rooted sense of responsibility to myself, my people, my clients, and my suppliers. I understood the urgency of the situation and understood the weight that had now been placed on my shoulders. I understood my own role in this crisis. I understood I had to act fast and with cause and purpose. It was important for me to have a positive outlook. It was not easy, but I had to have a smile on my face every day at the office. I had to have a growth mindset that required me to strengthen my mind by engaging in all the life lessons I had learned before this moment. I did not consider failure to be an option. I knew this would be hard work, but I was optimistic that I will see this firm through this crisis and they will be better off through it. I firmly believed no storm can possibly last forever. The second theme that resonated with me during my journey was the reliance on existing relationships and networks and alliances. This proved to be one of my greatest enablers in moving myself forward. I explored the minds of many trusted individuals in business, sometimes just to bounce ideas, mostly, often to vent, and sometimes just to have someone to celebrate my small wins. I can proudly stand in front of you and say, a Lineal Global stood firm to their philosophy of all in. Luca, Mark, Oscar, and Jim Wallace all personally reached out to me during this time to see how they could help me and made time to ensure I was able to get the firm back on track and in the path I believed was possible. A Lineal showed up and were all in with me from the beginning, throughout the journey, and right up to today. I had set small milestones for myself during this time, just to give myself a sense of direction. And each time I met the milestone, I would call Luca, and I would say, I did this, and we would meet to celebrate. We don't ever truly value our relationships until a moment like this arises. These small victories may seem like nothing to the bigger businessmen, but to me, it gave me a sense of hope. It gave me a sense of maybe, just maybe, I could pull off this job of being a CEO. When I'd taken the helm and navigated this turbulent time, every day was challenging. Every day had a problem to solve. Every month was a problematic month. So my talk is a very personal message to anyone that is going through a crisis, who has been through a crisis and could not see a possible way through. I encourage you to never lose hope, to strengthen your mindset and focus on all the positivity and greatness that will lie ahead of you. Lean into our relationships and our networks like a Lineal, because I promise you, and I can bear testament as I stand in front of you today, that when we do, we have a better chance of not just surviving a crisis, but thriving through it. After all, as Yale Geffen says, resilience is not just the ability to bounce back, it is the courage to grow through what we go through. Thank you.